Welcome into the Cafe Nightly Show. I'm your host, the Goldsmith. Today is the 17th of April, 2024. It happens to be a Wednesday, and one piece of announcement, one piece to get into, but there's a lot to cover, a lot to get into, a lot of opinion, a lot of context, and I don't know. Maybe a little bit of salt. Maybe a little bit of salt on this, or a little bit of perspective. And of course, I'm going to put the disclaimer up there up front that it's not financial advice. I'm not telling anyone what to do, what not to do. It's just a matter of what to consider and where we line up when we talk about properties that have sat on the market for 2 years, and Upland wants to incentivize people to mint them. And how do they incentivize people to mint them while taking a profit themselves? And get into how that works for the bundle sales. USD bundle sales obviously is what I'm talking about. It is the one big announcement today. We'll get into the details. And just to follow along with the series I've been doing right along the way, I will get into, as of last night, relatively late in the day, mid to late part of the day yesterday, we did have the newest participatory airdrop participatory mission. So we'll get into that. Make sure you do participate if you haven't participated yet. And that's about where we are today, other than keeping our eyes out, watching what's going on. I said keeping our eyes out, watching going on, almost every day for Genesis Week, because the big surprise yesterday came out of nowhere. We'll see what comes next. But to be able to get in and talk about real thoughts on the sale, I gotta get the disclaimer out of the way, because I need it for tonight. All views and opinions expressed by myself are mine and mine alone. Shouldn't be taken as game strategy or financial advice. They don't represent the game or the team of Upland. If I do have any guests or contributors who have opinions who choose to share them, more power to them. But those are their opinions and their opinions alone. Shouldn't be taken as game strategy advice. Shouldn't be taken as financial advice. Does not represent the game or the team of Upland. Does not represent myself, the Goldsmith, the Cafe Nightly Show. With that said, before taking a look at the airdrop, I do want to go and look where we already kind of get things prefaced here a little bit. Getting this looked at, what Upland has discussed, the people have discussed, and this idea that has very much become the center of the game of Upland, or a growing percentage of the game of Upland, is Upland doing these USD sales because the 1,000 to 1, 1,000 UPX to $1, or spending $1 to buy 1,000 UPX, is something that seems to not be happening as much anymore. We see more and more of these sales moving towards USD. When we talk about assets, more and more of these sales, when we talk about these bundle sales that are happening in USD, very few UPX sales for assets or for other obstacles of the game. Obviously, we know all properties do mint in UPX, but when you go in you want to buy a map asset, when Upland does an official sale, most of those end up being in USD at this point. The sale for UPX for yesterday sold out pretty quickly, and they're on the market in the secondary in USD if you want to buy them. That's kind of the punchline. It's rare to get rare to get an UPX sale, or UPX only sale, or even the option of UPX at this point. And then they sell out relatively quickly in UPX, and then you have to pay USD if you want to buy them on the secondary. Go figure. That's always fun. But Upland has discussed and has ventured out into different ways of repackaging, rebundling properties, trying to find ways to make them exciting, have rarities, have contests about buying new properties. We haven't seen one for a while where you're getting a lot of points for minting a certain number of properties, and those points they turn into whatever giveaway. Haven't seen one of those in a little while, but what we have seen is these bundles with who knows what you might get in your package. The type of thing that people are incentivized by the rare and the novel and the getting something that they've never had the opportunity to get, and they might not have the opportunity to get if they don't participate in this bundle. But that's not what this bundle is, because these are properties, and let's get into the language. These are properties that, in a very large way, people chose not to purchase over a very long period of time. And let's get started on that. We are excited to present the first ever Upland Legacy sale featuring legacy properties. And again, they define this here, or properties that have been available in the game for an extended period of time, but have never been minted. So think about those properties in Kansas City. Woo, Kansas City. Where there was a bunch of properties in Kansas City that more people would have minted more of if the city released more quickly or city released better. But we had like 3 false starts. And then not long after Kansas City, we had some other cities to deal with. And Rutherford was much more appealing at the time that Kansas City was minting, and it just didn't have that momentum where people were minting the city out. And then we had new cities and more exciting cities. We had cities with lower UPX per UP2. We had cities with the same or higher UPX per UP2 that were more exciting, and we had cities with higher treasure hunt tiers that people wanted to get into. There was a lot of reasons why the city of Kansas City is not yet minted out. But Upland has a solution to get rid of some of those properties and some of those properties in a couple other cities that have been out for a while. So we have a number of cities, again, that have stagnated. There's been properties that have been available for years that haven't yet minted out. And as long as we keep bringing new cities, people's focus keeps being on the new city. It's not on the city that we had released 2.5 years ago. So it's just been something that I've had the thought, and people have discussed, and the team of Upland has even said, that's interesting. Maybe we'll have this happen. And people have put notes out for this over the course of the last couple of years. And that is the idea of incentivizing. How do we incentivize people to mint these older cities? Do we slow down the minting of new cities? Do we restrict how many properties we come into market in the new cities, which has happened some, where we are partially releasing some cities. We do have new cities open up in the game of Upland, but it's never a huge area. It's not 400,000 properties all at the same time. And it really is this idea of, okay, why did this property at 40,000 or 80,000 or 100,000 UPX sit on the market for 2 years and not get minted? And I think defining the couple definitions here in the way Upland's building the sale, they may be addressing some of those concerns. These bundles offer new and veteran players alike an easy way to enhance their portfolios, as bundles are being offered at an average discount of 50% off. Again, average discount of 50% off the mint price, with some bundles discounted even more, including exclusive offerings from special cities like Beverly Hills. Okay, so there's a key note here. The key note is the last time we did these bundle sales, people said, give me the average. Give me the average of what my discount is, so I kind of know where the center is. When we did get some of the more information from our Beverly Hills sales and some more information when it came to the ETH sales, we saw kind of where those sugared out. I paid blank amount of ETH, or I paid blank amount of USD, and I got blank value in UPX. We were able to see that and track that. Upland is kind of giving that information up front, which I appreciate. We asked for, and this is a kudo and a golf clap. Kudos and a golf clap for taking that extra step, Upland, because that's what people asked for. But we're gonna get to the less kudo, less golf clap here in a second. So it's nice that that's there. It's nice that we're getting a pretty good definition of what types of properties are going to be there. And we got the definitions right here. Sale details. There will be no registration for the sale. Instead, there will be a live open to purchase on Thursday, April 18th. That's tomorrow, 9 a.m. PT. Each legacy bundle contains 3 properties from the following cities. Here's the following cities that could be included. Kansas City opened in September 2021. Nashville opened October 2021. Los Angeles, California opened January 2022. Dallas opened September 2022. Las Vegas opened June 2022. Queens opened April 2022. Rio de Janeiro opened July 2022. And Beverly Hills opened open for special sales. And it's included here again. But the caveat is, Beverly Hills hasn't really been a fully open city, which is fine. But the caveat here is that these properties we're talking about are properties that have been set in the market in the case of Kansas City, the case of Nashville, the case of Los Angeles for more than 2 years. And in the case of Kansas City, in the case of Nashville, we are closing in on 2.5 years as of right now, and it's going to be getting longer in the tooth as we get longer in the year. So it is something that it's not like people didn't have the chance to buy these properties. So now we're talking about, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the discount of 50% worth it? Well, let's look at what a discount actually is. I have to jump into the announcement to see the real discount here, because in Upland, or in the Discord side of things, when you saw that announcement, it looks pretty good. We say, okay, discount 50%. I like a discount 50%, but we have to get the actual definition here. These specially curated bundles will be available in the Extras tab of the Upland store. We intend for these bundles to be a continuous, accessible option for all players, helping everyone from beginners to longtime Uplanders easily and affordably expand their property portfolios. So they're going to open up tomorrow. Theoretically, Upland's saying there's going to be enough of them available that it's going to exceed demand, and they're going to continue to be there, perpetually there, and people will be able to mint them. That's great. There's going to be no registration. The 18th, that's tomorrow, 9 a.m. PT is when this starts. We see all these things that are there. And here they are. Here's our bundles. Legacy bundles will be purchasable both for ETH and USD. Notice there is no UPX value there. There's no purchase in UPX. So when we're talking about 50% value or 50% of mint, what is key there is 50% of mint, which mint is in UPX, when you're buying in USD or buying an equivalent ETH value. Meaning, we now start to have that question of, is the US dollar, or is the UPX token, is it worth buying 1,000 UPX tokens right now for $1? Given the market, given the way things are working in the game of Upland, the fact that I can go and buy properties that somebody else minted a year ago, 2 years ago, in cities like Kansas City, in cities like Nashville, I can go buy the property from them in a USD value, maybe 35, 40, 50 cents on the dollar. 35 maybe pretty extreme, but 35, 40, 50 cents on the dollar, go and buy a property from them. Maybe it's a property that I really want. The other person might not be as interested in it. That's why, they're selling it for the market. Will sell it at the floor of the market, and then I can go scoop that up and purchase that. And maybe it's got a special meaning to me. Maybe it's in the right part of the city. Maybe I'm going to use it in treasure hunting. Maybe, just maybe, there's a reason why I really like that street view of that old lady flipping off the Google Maps driver. Maybe that's what I'm after. But regardless of what I'm after, I have that discount because I know at the bottom of the floor of those markets in the USD side, I can buy, in many cases, less than 50 cents on the dollar, or less than 50% of mint. And I get the full mint value of that property. Well, in this case, we're going to get the full mint value of the property. I'm going to get down a little further to see it. But we're going to get the full mint value of that property as well. The mint value is going to be there, and your earnings are going to be based on the mint value, even though you're buying it for a lower cost in USD, which is nice. But because it's randomized, I'm not getting the property I want, which right now I can do. I can go hunt properties. Again, the bottom of the market isn't always super thick, but the bottom of the market in UPX value, or I should say, the bottom of the market for my comparison of UPX mint value to what the sale price is in USD. Again, some people would say that margin of sale or percent margin of sale value on the original mint. So you'd say it's a 45% markup, aka am I paying 45% of the original sale price, which if I'm looking at USD compared to UPX, that's going to be something that people look for and they hunt for, and they aren't always the best properties in the city, but they are properties that someone chose to buy at some point, whether it was last week or six months ago. It's been taken out of the supply. So even if I wanted to spend the UPX for it, I couldn't buy it. And it's something where I have the choice whether I buy that or not. With these bundles, I do have the opportunity to get 50% on the dollar or better, or a little worse, or better is nice. And I do have the opportunity to potentially get lucky and get some collection properties. We get into the specifics here where those are broken out, but I do want to preface before I get into you could get this, you might get this, you could get this. You do have another option. Again, this isn't to say don't participate in this activity, but you do have another option. The other option is take your USD, the $35 here, or the different bundles. We'll get into the specific bundle amounts. Take that USD, and you can go buy from another Uplander. Hi, I'm an Uplander. I sell stuff in USD sometimes. No, I really don't. I don't sell very much. I have in the past. But there's a lot of other Uplanders who do. They have some properties they don't want to hold on to. They want to sell it into USD. You buy it in USD. They take that USD. It goes into their utility account. Maybe they cash out. Maybe they don't. I know a lot of people hold their USD for when we have USD specific sales. Like I keep saying, which is all the time. So they hold on to that USD they got from a sale for the next USD specific sale, whether it is map assets, whether it's to buy a car, whether it's to do something else. So that's an option as well. Let's look at the more details here. Bundles, legacy bundles, again, are purchasable both ETH and USD. There's a separate bundle or separate pricing for each. All properties will be conveniently delivered straight to your asset wallet. Players will have these properties or have them into their wallet in about 24 hours or within 24 hours of the purchase. That's not a bad turnaround. In the past, we've had it be longer in some cases. So 24 hours, not too bad. Intro bundle. An ideal start for those new to property management. This bundle offers 3 discounted properties. And I think it's cute that there's an intro here, then a plus, and then a premium. Why I think intro is cute and the way they're terming this, an ideal start for players new to property management, is I think Upland right now is looking at the concept of bringing new players in, acquiring players through this Spark, currently having the Spark clip platform out, currently have this airdrop campaign going. New players come in and want to get a base, want to get a foothold in the game of Upland. Maybe that's what the appeal is here. And if that's what the appeal is, again, there's more nuanced ways to play the game, but this is at least providing some value in excess of, hey, come and buy some UPX from the Upland store at 1,000 UPX per USD, and then go and spend that on the open market, secondary or minting. This is a little bit of a enhanced value potentially for those players who don't care where they get in their property. They just want to get a foothold. They just want to get some properties to start. The Plus Bundle, elevate your portfolio with 3 properties and a 30% chance to receive a collection property. The Premium Bundle, for the ultimate Upland player, this bundle includes 3 properties, a 50% chance of a collection property, and the possibility of 1 of 2 landmarks included in this exclusive deal. Now, the landmark, that's what piques my attention. When I hear you could get a landmark, that gets me to sometimes crack the pack, sometimes take the gamble. I've done it before with the ETH bundles. I've done it before in the USD bundles, the travel bundles. I don't know if I'm going to do it again, but again, it is a gamble that you're taking at that point if you're putting that much money in, and we're going to see how much that money is. So on the ETH side, the intro bundles, there's going to be 750 of those bundles available. The pricing is at 0.01 ETH. The features, there's 3 discounted legacy properties in there. The Plus has 500 bundles of those available on the ETH side. Price is 0.04 ETH. The features, there are 3 discounted legacy properties in that bundle. There is a 30% chance of including at least 1 collection property. The Premium Bundle, 250 of those available, 0.14 ETH for the cost. Features 3 discounted legacy properties, 50% chance of including at least 1 collection property, chance of 2 landmarks in there. Ooh-wee. Look at that. Landmarks, the Kaufman Astoria Studios. Ooh, I've been there. That's pretty cool. 3412 36th Street in Queens. The mint price would be 16. That's 16 million. 16,347,520 UPX. And as I already said, as in the language later on down the line, that this payout, the dividends, are based on that specific UPX value, not bad dividends to get lucky and get that property. Keep in mind, There's only one of those properties in the game of Upland. There's only one of that specific property, that specific landmark. Only one of the bunch. But there's one more landmark as well. There's a West Side School, 330 West Washington Avenue in Las Vegas. That is going to be a mint price of $4,760,100 UPX. On the USD side, different landmarks in there. So let's take a look on the UPX premium side. So on the intro bundle, again, same thing, same quantity, $750. The price is $38 USD. 3 discounted legacy properties are yours. You can buy this on the mobile platform. So for all the people who are exclusively mobile players, they don't want to log into play.upland.me, which you can do on a mobile phone. You just have to, go into Chrome, play.upland.me, log in that way. And then as a browser based, you can go and purchase any of these bundles. This is for the in-app, if that's what you're doing. The premium, there are 250 premiums available. I skipped ahead. I apologize. But for the plus, there's 500 of the plus available, $120 each. 3 discount legacy properties, 30% chance of including at least one collection property. And the premium, there's 250 of those available, $460 each. There are 3 discounted legacy properties in that bundle, 50% chance of including at least one collection property, and a chance of one of 2 landmarks. Ooh, landmarks. Landmarks, Spring Street Courthouse, 312 North Spring Street, Los Angeles, California. Mint price, $10,030,680 UPX. And the Hale Arena, look at that. 1701 American Royal Court in Kansas City. That is going to be a mint price of $5,675,040 UPX. What a deal that would be. Whether you're just starting your Upland journey or looking for a significant expansion of your empire, the legacy sale offers a unique opportunity to acquire premium properties at a remarkable value. Don't miss out on this chance to grow your property holdings in Upland. It's great. It's a good concept. It fulfills a couple things. Upland has been, kind of given this idea from the player base that we'd like to see incentivizations to mint out areas that are older cities that could potentially help those older cities stay alive or potentially bring new life to those cities. People have said things like, my neighborhood would be a lot better if the one next door was minted out. This is that opportunity to potentially do that. People are not choosing to mint into XYZ neighborhood in Kansas City. They're choosing to buy properties at a discounted value. At least Upland's calling it a discounted value. Some might say it's at market value, maybe a little above, but it's also going to be something that is a little gimmicky because, if you go on the premium side of things, you're going to be getting a potential of a landmark, which I actually fall into that category of giving to those gimmicks a little bit because I know what I'm doing. I know I'm paying for an opportunity to get something. I can, if I do break even on those opportunities, I'm pretty happy. But of course, you take the swing for the fences and you see what happens as well. But I do want to put a couple of notations on these properties as well. Like I said, the idea that the properties have been out, the properties have been mintable, people have chosen not to mint them over the course of 2 years. I think that's worth noting or is worth considering. I also think that if the bundles do sell out and the property next to yours gets sold, and the property next to that gets sold, and the property next to that gets sold, again, what we see these as is going to be properties dropped into your wallet. This is not like we've had before. This is not like we've had to go and get the UPX and then travel over and mint the properties. When we have those, people can have a property reserved for them and then have them not mint them out. With these properties being transferred to the new owner, if Upland chose a specific neighborhood in Kansas City to have a bunch of those properties go into these bundles and have these bundles get sold, and they do get sold out, that means that neighborhood's actually sold out officially. All those properties are minted. Maybe the people who ended up with them, they're not their favorite properties. It's possible. It's possible. But it does mean, and it does point to the idea that the people that are out will at least be people who will have those properties in their portfolio. The other interesting thing is, if people are really trying to take advantage of and they really think that they're going to be doing a value on the USD to UPX side of things. They didn't want to pay 1,000, or they didn't want to pay a $1 for 1,000 UPX. They want to get a little better value. We could see some of those properties that were originally purchased in USD get flipped to a much higher UPX value. And again, this sounds a little silly, but when we think about it, in most cities in the game of Upland right now, it is much more common to see the UPX per UP2 in a lot of cities, most neighborhoods, the markup be 100% or 105% or 110% as being the absolute minimum for some of those cities, which means you would expect if you own a property at 110,000 UPX mint value that you'd sell that for 110,000 UPX. That maybe there's might be demand for it. Maybe you sell it at 95% and you sell it at 90 something thousand UPX. And if that's the case, then guess what? You really did buy at five, at whatever, at 50% plus or minus in USD. You essentially got 2,000 UPX per US dollar, which is a lot better value than buying the UPX from the UPX store. So maybe that's a strategy that's available to certain people. Maybe that's a strategy that certain players are going to take. And it would not be surprising if we see a number of people do that. It is available and it's a possibility. The other thing that is another consideration of this and worth noting on the backside of this is going to be that when we do see these areas mint out, it's possible that people are going to want to hold in those areas because it was a forced migration. It was a forced minting. It was something that Upland just selected and said this area or that area is going to get minted out. Now it's a minted out area. It looks a little different when we talk about the landscape. People will look at the fact that the entire neighborhood's minted out. Maybe the development there is now going to be something where people are going to have a different eye on development or different interest in trying to get that area developed. Maybe that creates, and maybe that opportunity becomes one for people where they start to say, this is worth making a node here. And before it wasn't. So we are going to see that as a real possibility and something that we will likely have kick off here in the not so distant future, where we have these accidental nodes. It's an accidental node because you didn't mean to get properties there. You have the properties there. Now you're making lemonade. We can call them a lemonade node if you want, but I think that is a real possibility in the backside of these sales if they happen a bunch. But one thing I do think is interesting to look at is you're getting 3 properties here. You're getting 3 properties here. You're getting 3 properties here. Same on the USD side, right? 3 properties here on the intro bundle, 3 properties on the plus bundle, 3 properties on the premium bundle, all at very different prices. What does that mean? Well, the 50% plus or minus is going to hold true on each of these bundles. It means that you're going to be much higher UPX value on the premium bundles. So if on the premium bundles, your UPX value, let's see, $460 USD. Let's just say it is right on the 50%. You're going to see that the UPX value is going to be pretty close to 920,000 UPX total value. Divide that by 3, average on a 300,000 UPX property. So these are going to be more valuable properties or higher mint properties with a potential that means they're larger, with a potential that also means they just happen to be in areas with very high UPX per UP2. There are properties that never minted in the game of Upland or neighborhoods that didn't mint out because the UPX per UP2 was high, but this game of Upland or the players of Upland did not see any big value in minting that area out. So you have these whole areas of all these properties that are expensive to mint that aren't minted. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing in theory. So you end up potentially seeing an expensive neighborhood mint out. Now it's not full of empty squares or mintable squares. Maybe that's a great target for a node. Maybe that's a opportunity for people to hold on to those properties in those areas because now they're dividend cows. I don't know what people end up doing in those areas, but it is something worth considering that if you are buying a premium bundle, you're buying a property that may have a mint price in the 300,000, 400,000 UPX range with the caveat that it can be hard to sell those higher UPX mint properties. It could be harder to sell it back into the USD market. It could be harder to sell into the UPX market just because people aren't always looking for those. But with discount selling, those do definitely move, and there is some utility for them. There's reasons, there's structures that need the larger properties. So we will see those continue to be a part of the future of the game, even though there's a lot of those large properties in areas like Kansas City that aren't fully minted out at this point, at this time. So I did want to take a look at a couple things here before jumping in. I just see if there's any comments, any thoughts. The idea that really sticks out on this. Let's take a look. I'm going to more cheese. No, bad more cheese. No cheese. More cheese. No, no financial dealings decided based on the content of the show. Again, I want people to know what's going on. People have speculated and discussed for a long time can Upland sell at a lower value on properties that theoretically have proven to have a lower value. Again, nobody bought these for 2 years, 2.5 years. Is the UPX price the correct price? No. Maybe not. Maybe it's not. But also this idea that if you're selling into USD or requiring people to pay in USD and their bundles, you have to give some value in excess of that 1,000 to 1 ratio, because people can see on the generalized market that there's not something that carries, especially for random properties. When I say random properties, it's properties that you yourself have not yet selected. So you can't say on average you would think it's worth mint on a $1 UPX ratio. Let's see what else we've got going on. Yeah, lemons of lemonade for sure. I'm looking at with the lemonade nodes. Cheese, I see you automatically go to Elmo and Hell. I don't know why, but I'll take it. Yeah, so try to make the best of those areas getting minted out, and maybe, just maybe, there's going to be some value for it, some thoughts on it along the way. And my toxic trait is thinking that I can win that landmark, Kenny. Kenny, I have the same thing. I don't necessarily think I can get it. I look at the value. I look at the potential of, I would really love to have that property. I see that I have a 1 out of 200 chance of getting it. 1 out of 200 chance, and I don't get it because I never get lucky on these things, Kenny. But I don't know. I haven't learned yet. I mean, taking the chance, rolling the dice, going in there for the landmark, thinking that that's the reason why I'm incentivized to buy. I think that's very much the way Upland is seeing that get written. Blue Rain, they need to think about repricing. Why would anyone buy these properties now? Which, again, I think that's what Upland thinks they're doing. Upland thinks that they're giving people a discount on buying those properties. They're really not. They're kind of making up the difference between the USD and the UPX markets when doing so, as opposed to repricing and UPX those properties, which you could have done. You could have done this by putting them into a bundle sale and saying you're buying in UPX for blank and you're getting a discount for doing so. Let's say it was 85% on the dollar. Well, generally speaking, when I go to the market, I want to buy the lowest markup property in UPX. It's like I said, it's at 100% or 95% or 105%. It's right in that area. It's not quite a bit lower. So if they pegged it at 85%, that would be one way to sell out these areas in the UPX market. Maybe you do it a little higher. I mean, you're giving people a discount, but it's nice to get a discount every once in a while. You're just getting areas that otherwise haven't been sold in the game of Upland. You're giving people a small discount to do so. They're also taking a risk that it's an area that they don't want to be a part of, but it is a discount. So they're buying it at a discount in the discount bin. The label's knocked off. It's hard to see exactly what it is before you cut that can open. Maybe it's tuna fish. Maybe it is sardines. You don't know. But it is going to be something that I would want to participate in. I've got 650,000 UPX sitting in my account, burning a hole in my little wallet. I could turn around and pay 85 cents on the dollar for bundles, or 85 cents on the UPX. There you go. 85% of mint on average. Again, if we do the on average thing, by buying in UPX, I would play for that. And that would help sell out a lot of Kansas City as far as I'm concerned, because I'd put some money that way. I think other people would have put some UPX, I should say, that way. But again, when you're doing the USD to the UPX side, when we're doing a sale like this, people are having to factor two factors. They're not only factoring, am I willing to buy this property sight unseen, getting this property? Now I have to say, what's my value ratio, my exchange ratio between USD and UPX on the open market? Again, if I was real in a bind and I need that UPX that minute, I've had moments where I've gone and buy UPX 1,000 to $1, $1 to 1,000 UPX. I've done it because I had to do something in a short period of time to get a property that I wanted to get, and it was an UPX, blah, blah, the whole story there. But we know we have other means to buy properties in the USD market. If I choose to sell them into the UPX market, which again, I'm primarily in the UPX market, I try to sell them into the UPX market. There's people who are going to buy them on the UPX market who weren't going to buy them in the USD market. So in general, you're going to get more UPX back than you would have paid in USD. And it might take a little while to do it, but theoretically, you're going to get more bang for your buck than going and buying 1,000 UPX in the UPX store with your USD, which Upland has come to the point of kind of realizing that's what's happening. So since you have two things to determine how you value UPX and USD together, and if you're willing to participate in a random sale, maybe that's more factors to think about. I get pessimistic about some things sometimes. I'm optimistic about Upland a lot of the time. We'll see how this sale goes. Maybe there's more people. Again, I don't think tricked is the word. I don't think being naive to the current market's the right phrase, but they just want to participate in this sale, especially with the landmarks built in there, and they could have a strong sell on this. We'll have to see how it happens. But Upland, I do appeal to your greater angels. Do the same function with properties that we know are properties that aren't selling well in, let's say, Kansas City, because that's a city that I would not want to buy in normally. And do the discount. Do the 85% discount in UPX. Give me an opportunity to spend some of my UPX if I choose to do so. Maybe sweeten the pot with a small landmark if you've got one. But I know I'm not going to get 50% on the dollar because I'm not buying USD. That's fine. But that's one other way to clear out these large tracts of properties that are in these older cities that 2 years on that can't sell. It's a way of discounting. It's just like if my house wasn't selling for 2 years on the market, when I try to sell it the next winter, which is the off season, I bet you my real estate agent's going to come to me and say, would you consider lowering the price? And that's that's a kind of a little bit of a offer to Upland here, or a suggestion. It's a fun way to do it. It's a fun way to lower the price without actually lowering the going rate or the UPX per UP2 value. It is a way of getting people to buy areas on a random chance, which is the areas that Upland wants to buy. You just put them in the bundle, the ones you want to sell, give a little bit of discount, get them sold, do it in UPX. You'll get some of my UPX back as opposed to having it sit in my wallet. That's the appeal. Let's see it happen. All right. And of course, I do want to go back into the one other thing that I love to go into. And I'm going to take a quick look at that right now. And that is, what is our mission currently? I'm going to pop into my mission here in a second so I can actually see it and get it drawn over. And that's going to be taking a look at the mission for our current Upland Sparklet platform. And I got to get there in just a second. And with that, of course, we saw this happen later in the day. And I'm going to kind of put this one little thing out there that's kind of interesting. It was a little fun for me. Is I saw this really fun post yesterday on Upland that they put on Twitter. And I obviously do watch my Twitter in addition to going to the platform. I do what the platform tells me to do because I really want that Sparklet. But I do go and check my Upland Twitter, my Twitter in general, a couple times a day, and I saw a really cool post, and I said, hey, I want to repost that post. And I did. Hey, I'd like to make a comment on that post. And I did. I want to like that post. And I did. And guess what? A little bit of luck on my side, maybe. Maybe it was just too good to be true. Maybe it was just the absolute right post and maybe I should have known it was the right post, and maybe part of me knew it was the right post. But that post that I did not see in the platform yet, that I had not seen in the platform yet, happened to become or happened to be the post that I was going to get reward for. Take a look. Take a look. Right here. We're number 6 in. Here we go. 6 replies, 6 reposts, 6 likes. And here it is, announcing in-person airdrop, Chapter G. That was all of our excitement yesterday. That being all of our excitement yesterday, it's an easy thing to see that Upland wants to make it the shared post. Upland wants to get people excited about it. And I think that it worked. A lot of people have been really excited about this the last day. But getting it shared was going to be the obvious next step in the platform. And again, I just happened to participate with doing all the things for this post. And I don't interact with every single one of Upland's posts, but I did interact with this of Upland's post before even knowing it was a mission. So it's kind of fun that this got done, this got out of the way. I do want to point out and just show something. Early in the day, there was one of the prior missions, the immediate previous mission that was still up. It's gone now. Keep in mind that when you get the new mission, the previous one drops off pretty quickly. Just make sure you're doing it, checking in every day or two, taking advantage of the mission that's open, and getting it done before it drops off. Because once it drops off, you no longer are going to be able to have that as a mission where you can earn points. So just keep that in mind. Do it when you can, so you can get as many points as possible. Dropping in here, California Trading Company, or you could buy props at 35% USD and sell them in UPX. Yes, that was a suggestion, California Trading Company. Absolutely. 35%, like I said, is not necessarily the same in every city, but there are some cities where people are able to get those 35% mints at certain times. And if you're doing that, you could be seeing a little better of a outcome than you would see by participating in this event. That's possible. It's also possible to get the properties you want to get. Jimmy Jester, how long before Upland opens a new city that mints in USD only? That's a crazy question, except it's not too crazy. That's a great question. I don't know if Upland's going to do that. I like the idea, and maybe this will be the case. I like the idea that if you go and mint a property, you're always minting it in UPX. That makes up Upland's native token UPX. It's a utility token. It has a specific reason for it to be there, and I like it. The USD markets between peers, peer-to-peer USD market, I like that it exists. I like the idea that if you're going to go buy a property specifically to go buy a property from Upland, or mint a property specifically in Upland, you're going to be using UPX forever. But you're right, Jimmy Jester. It is possible. I wouldn't be surprised. It definitely could happen. It could be sooner rather than later that we see a USD only sale. So we'll keep our eyes out and watch out for that as a real possibility. For tonight, thank you so much for being here. We are doing this live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. PT. Again, things kicked off in the Upland Cafe. That is going to be pre-show conversation. The show kicking off sometime thereafter, and obviously we're recorded so you can watch it the next morning, so you can have some cookies and milk late in the evening, depending on where you're on the world, and just listen to the show in the background. Whatever you want to do, try to keep the news and information up front and center, right up front. Comments from people along the way, if we have it, like to get the public sentiment shared, but of course views and opinions and some nice interviews along the way when we can get them there as well. But for tonight, thank you for being here. Those in the Upland Cafe, please feel free to unmute your mics. As always, the floor is yours.